What's up, guys? John here. We're told that they're going to end inequality and inequity and everything is going to be fair and equal in America. And some people might say that's a really good thing. But when you look at what's happening to housing, single family homes, whether you're thinking about buying a house, maybe you're thinking of renting an apartment, when you look at what they're actually proposing to do, because to me, owning a home gives a sense of freedom. It gives a sense of security, right? It's a part of the American dream, or at least it was. But they're saying that people aren't going to own single-family homes. They're not going to own a house in the future. Instead, they're going to rent everything. And that's the conversation that's now being normalized. But if everyone's going to rent, then who's going to own it all? Well, the answer is going to be Wall Street, these Wall Street firms. When you look at where the money was flowing in 2020 and 2021, and you look at what they're poised to accomplish over the next several years, you'll realize where we're actually going. In this video, I'm going to show you the actual blueprint, the tailored plan of how they're going to combat inequality and how they're going to really make things better for everybody, and how Wall Street's going to benefit immensely and what you can do about this entire situation. Because if you pay attention and you build out a plan, you'll be able to pivot and navigate around all the chaos that 95% of people are going to be forced to walk through. Take a look at this, for example. They said, this just came out, right? It says that these companies are artificially inflating rents, and that that these corporate landlords are the problem. It says people are being evicted at a higher rate when their landlords are corporate landlords who can afford to use this kind of software. Apparently the software gives them information that allows them to look at what their competitors are doing and artificially inflate rents. But the reality is, it's no different than if you were a home seller thinking about selling your home. In your neighborhood, you'd go on Zillow and see what's selling in the neighborhood. Same exact thing here, right? They say that they need to attack these corporate landlords. But the reality is they're giving all their money to corporate landlords. look, in 2021, after this is actually during the moratoriums, after all the chaos, $21.6 billion in rental assistance went out. Where do you think that money went? Do you think it went to Sally the hairdresser and Joe the plumber and Michelle the school teacher? No, it went to these mega landlords. And as they dropped interest rates to bare bottom, they're like 2.5%, 3%, some of these interest rates. These landlords said, hey, look, we can get this big bailout. We can refinance our properties, take out mega loans at super, super low interest rates, and we could use this to start buying up everything in America. And that's exactly what they did the last several years. They were buying in some pockets of, like Atlanta, for example, they're buying up 30% of all the houses. In some pockets all throughout the Sun Belt, a lot of different areas, they were buying up thousands and thousands of properties every single month, right? Well, I'm going to show you what this game plan is and why I think things are about to change radically in America. Please hit the like button. Hit the like button. YouTube will share this content. Educate more people about what's really going on in this country, in our economy. If you'd like to fix your credit to position yourself, what I believe is going to be the greatest wealth transfer of all time, we'd love to help you at my company, GreatCreditFast.com. That's GreatCreditFast.com. If you have late payments, medical bills, charge-offs, foreclosures, bankruptcies, repossessions, or any negative or derogatory items in your credit report, go to GreatCreditFast.com. Click the link in the description just below this video. Schedule a free call for tomorrow. Check out reviews on TrustPilot. Take a look at this. So, look at this. For example, fourth quarter 2021. Somehow, Invitation Homes, they showed record profits. Total revenues increased 12.1%, $520 million. In 2020, it was up 4.5%, right? $464 million. Meanwhile, they said that they were going to bail out all these mom and pop landlords and they're going to really fix everything for landlords. But the mom and pop landlords, they got stiffed all across the nation. By and large, most of these landlords got stuck holding the bag. And in fact, Maxine Waters even came out and said on Politico, yes, the small landlords are at a disadvantage, but guess what? They know how to go to the bank. They know how to get a loan. She said this on July 30th as she rallied support for extending the eviction ban. They know how to deal with hard times. I believe that they can hang on until aid flows smoothly. And I do not believe that the renter families, many of whom have 3 or 4 children, have that opportunity, right? You start to look at the dates here, 2021, August, right? So they lent out, they gave out that $20+ billion to Wall Street, and a lot of the mom and pops got completely stiffed. Now, they say they're going to fix it now. They're going to make things right. Now, what this looks like is they want to throw $40 billion to promote housing development. It also proposes $25,000 in down payment support for first-time buyers. This is first-time generation buyers, not first-time buyers. So if your family's owned a home, it disqualifies you, right? And a $10,000 tax credit. When you look at this, you kind of get a real clear picture. Look at what happened in California, for example, when they started throwing money at this scenario.
How did California get so much homelessness?
I mean, because of our own policies and neglect. We put up our feet and we rested on our laurels.
The state invested $24 billion over the last 5 years to curb the problem. Despite the billions of dollars spent to combat the issue, the number of people experiencing homelessness increased by more than 50%.
A lot of the money flowed directly to companies, and these companies are building homes for very questionable numbers. For example, talking about $1 billion for 1,200 tiny homes. I've actually visited these tiny homes. Like some of these houses are like $800,000, and they're sheds. Like sheds you could buy at Home Depot or on Amazon for like $2,000 or $1,500. They're charging $840,000 for these, the taxpayers paying it, right? In Skid Row, they're charging $600,000 a unit. $600,000. Skid Row, if you've ever been to LA, you know what it is, and if you haven't, it looks like a different country. It looks like a third world country. And when you throw $40 billion at this problem, what do you think is going to happen? Very similar situation. You think it's going to solve the problem? No. Do you think a lot of construction companies, a lot of these third parties are going to get filthy rich off this situation? Definitely, right? And so what else they're proposing to do is convert these commercial buildings, these big commercial properties that are falling in value due to what's happened the last several years, into apartments. And it's really exploding. It's booming. I mean, look at this, for example, 407,000 views. It's happening. All of these vacant Manhattan office buildings are moving towards conversions to apartments. In total, 69 buildings have already reached out to the city about a conversion. Let's keep this going. And gotta make sure that they include affordable units, right? Sounds really good, right? $35 billion they're gonna be issuing in loans. Who's gonna be funding that? It's gonna be likely the taxpayers. And who is gonna be getting these major projects? Likely large-scale developers and builders, not mom and pops. Now, when they talk about adding 3 million homes and they start talking about all this, I can promise you this situation is a disaster. The easiest way to build housing is not to regulate it, is not to force 3 million units, is to open up a free market and remove some of the restrictions preventing builders from building. I mean, for example, skyrocketing people's property taxes and pushing people into financial hardship, which is happening by the millions all throughout this country, is not a way in which they're going to bring this affordability crisis under control. It's going to make it way worse, even for the people that that are renting, that are going to see these costs being pushed onto them, and the property owners that are barely keeping their head afloat. What they're saying here is that the easiest way to combat inequality is through tax relief and income support transfers, aka government programs like welfare, free healthcare, and food stamps. So if you are getting welfare, if you are getting free healthcare, if you're getting anything for free, nothing's for free in this country. Nothing's for free in this world. No matter what it is, if someone's giving you something and you are dependent on that every single month, you become basically controlled by the entity that you're dependent on, right? And if this is the path towards combating inequality, just imagine what this is going to mean for America. I mean, for example, MoneyWise says that your tax dollars are helping Wall Street. Big money institutions could control a stunning 40% of U.S. homes in the next 4.5 years. 40%. It said while most Americans are anxiously watching, the housing market shows signs of cooling after running red hot for years. A group may be cheering for a crash. After the 2008 financial crisis, corporations and institutional investors look to ramp up their purchases of residential real estate, including single-family rentals. Now, analysts worry history may repeat itself. According to a 2022 report from MetLife Investment Management, 4 in 10 single-family rental homes could be owned and controlled by Wall Street within 7 years. This could pose a problem, not just for ordinary renters, but for the rest of the economy. After a 2008 financial crisis, home prices have plummeted while the central banks reduced interest rates to support the economy. Wall Street suddenly had access to cheap capital and distressed assets. For much of the past decade, interest rates have been lower than the rental yield on most properties. That means that corporate landlords' business model was lucrative. Companies backed by private equity firms like Blackstone and Pretium Partners purchased hundreds of thousands of homes. Institutional players like Tricon Residential, Progress Residential, American Homes for Rent, and Invitation Homes have extensive portfolios of rental homes across the country, currently owning 700,000 single-family rentals, or 5% of the market's inventory. So they're going to go from 5% to 40%. So they're going to increase 8x over the next 5.5 years, right? You think about what that would mean. It's a complete takeover. So when they say they want to combat inequality and inequity and eat the rich, and these conversations that a lot of people, they hear, they say, great, finally the middle class is going to get a break. We're going to be able to take back, from Wall Street. We're going to be able to do this. In reality, is that actually happening, or is the middle class getting completely duped? Because $21.6 billion in rental assistance, and a lot of this money flowed directly to Wall Street, and these Wall Street firms seized many real estate markets last several years. How is that going to change? It's not. These 3 million homes they're talking about building, who's going to build them, right? It's going to be these Wall Street firms that are going to have their hands in their pockets. Who's going to be capitalizing on all of this? I mean, the first-time generation home buyers, who's going to be capitalizing? It's going to be a lot of the large corporations that are hiring these first-time generation home buyers, right? All of the money is going to continue to flow up over the next couple of years. That's what's going to happen. As they increase insurance and increase taxes, and many, many, many people get pushed to the brink, the money is just going to keep going to Wall Street. Now, I believe there's going to be a tremendous amount of opportunity. I want to be very, very, very clear. For those that are ambitious, that see exactly what's going on, that are getting themselves out of high interest rate consumer credit card debt, stable income, cash in the bank, great credit. They're putting themselves in a place where they can buy a property, they can absorb additional cost if it comes. Further increases on taxes, further increases on insurance, inflation gets worse. Any of these problems they can absorb. Those people are going to have a leg up, because when they look outside and they see, tons of other people, most of these other people are not going to be able to weather the storm, right? And so if you are making aggressive, ambitious moves the next couple of years, you're going to be able to protect yourself and your family. But if you read these headlines, that come out saying that they're going to, combat inequality and make everything fair, and everyone's going to have, we're going to live in basically harmony, and you believe it, I think it's going to be a rude wake-up call. What do you think about this entire situation? Do you think they're really going to, stop, sky-high rents, and they're going to stop this takeover of America? I don't think so. Let's have a conversation. I'm really curious as to what you think. And if you'd like to fix your credit to position yourself, what I believe is without doubt the greatest wealth transfer in American history. And as the economy gets worse, things get worse. Look out at the world. I mean, everything seems to be getting worse. What are people going to be doing? Many people are going to be forced to sell off hard real assets. And I think there's going to be a lot more sellers than available buyers. And I think there's going to be a lot of opportunity to invest. So if you'd like to fix your credit to position yourself for funding, maybe you have late payments, medical bills, charge-offs, foreclosures, bankruptcies, repossessions, anything like that, under Credit Report, we'd love to help you, give you a free consultation at greatcreditfast.com. Click the link in the description just below this video, schedule a free call, and check out our reviews on Trustpilot. Catch you next video.